how well we all practice, right? Okay. So what we are going to do on that day, I was feeling that we might be doing an injustice to this topic of get and transform if we complete on that day. So without changing the schedule, we will complete the get and transform uh, as a topic, because initially when I planned, it was just an introduction to get and transform, that what it is, and I was planning not to showcase the practical of this and cover the theoretical part. But I am saying that at least one case study we will do, so that we can appreciate how powerful this command get and transform is. We have looked at a glimpse of get and transform on the last class, but what I will do is I will take a step back from here. I will take a step back from here and we'll see that, and tell you a little bit about the tables and how the tables are structured in a database. Okay. So I will show you a few examples of tables and try to correlate what I am trying to bring onto the table, and then I will go to the theoretical part of it. Okay. So look at this data. I will put it on the screen once again. Yeah, all of you can see the data here. You are able to see my screen, guys? Yes, no? Yeah, okay. Look at this. This is a table, okay, which is having lots of data. And I will read out. It has date, product ID, quantity, and then the day of the month, year, weekday name, then month name, then which quarter it is, then product brand, right? Product name, product SKU, product weight, right? It is covering all the details in very minute level, right? Which may be required for our pivot tables, right? We can do a pivot table, and if I want how much sales have been done on Wednesday, I can get it. If I don't have this table in this shape and form, I may not be able to get the data which I want, right? If I want quarterly sales, quarter one, quarter two, quarter three should be populated here, right? If I want a product name wise or SKU wise sale, I can have it here also, that in which quarter which SKU has been sold, or in which quarter which SKU has been sold on Wednesday or on Sunday, right? So for this becomes a compulsion to have, right? That all the data is stored at one place in a very neat form, right? But do you see, this becomes extremely inefficient as well, because let's say if you have 100 attributes which needs to be populated, plotting it in one Excel sheet becomes extremely important, extremely inefficient. Basically, it will take a lot of space, and your pivot tables will hang, your Excel sheet will hang. So large data handling becomes very difficult in the scenario we are on this spreadsheet, right? So it becomes very, very difficult. Let's see. But what can happen is, you see, if we break this table, okay, if we break this table and say if only the date is one attribute which is put in the main table, the day of the month, year, weekday or not, week of the year, right, name of the month, quarter, all that thing can be populated through one field only, which is the date, right? So why do I have to have all these things? I can have a separate table which contains all these attributes, and in my main table I have only this particular thing, right? Is it a possibility? Similarly, product brand name, product SKU, retail price, cost, weight, etc. can all be tackled through this product ID. Assume this product ID is unique number which we are giving. So if I have product ID populated, I can have a separate table for this, right? And then I can have the ability by looking at, okay, product ID to give me the product name. If I have such a scenario somewhere, I'm able to work it in this fashion, this becomes absolutely a very good way of working. And all our databases, whether it is SAP, Oracle, etc., are working on this format of table format, and where a key, this key is called as primary key, right, which is a unique number through which you can pull up other attributes also, right? So look at this table further. So you see these two are primary keys basically. They can uniquely identify each row in another table. So it is a unique number which can identify each row in the table, right? And in the table in which this is present, to pull up the data, they in that table, these keys are termed as foreign keys. Because what happens, there can be multiple instances of these primary keys in another table. Let's say 11 to 1997, it can appear multiple times here, right? A product can be sold multiple times in this table. But what I'm doing is I'm structuring my table in such a way that product number one will have a unique identity. In this table, it can appear multiple times, right? The date can appear multiple times, but 1/1/1997 will have all these attributes stored in a separate table. Okay, and I can link this to my main table and can manipulate the data and can pull the data in the shape and form I want, right? So in case you want to see what is the date of the month, a day of the month or a weekday name, from looking at this, you can easily go to this table and look at this date. If you want to know 357, what is the product name? So 357, you will go to this column, look at 357, and you will get the name. So what is happening? This table is it is truncated. If you see, in this table, everything was coming one after the other. It was inefficient because here you also see 1197 is appearing so many times. But even these columns are also appearing multiple times, right? Which is making this table inefficient because it is taking lot of space and columns, and the database is becoming little inefficient. Okay, so there is a concept of primary key and foreign key. So you will have to just understand that to have one table work efficiently, there should be one primary key for that. Okay, and that can be used in any other table in the form of foreign key, and then you can work very efficiently. Like for example, all of us have a primary key in the form of your Aadhaar card number, your PAN card number, GST number, your other registrations numbers. They are all unique key. So one number itself represent number of data. So at a lot of places you can just search by, let's say, PAN number and your date of birth, and all other details will come to you, right? Your bank account number is a primary key, right? Because you have only one bank account number, which is 10 or 16 digit, whatever it is, and bank will store all the data into different tables. Like for example, for having transaction Your name, your address, your pin code, your phone number, your mail ID, all of them is not required. So there will be a table where your personal informations are stored, right? Then there will be a table where transactions are stored, but in that transaction table, your account number would be used because that becomes the primary key in the transaction table. And in that transaction table, your account number will appear multiple times, right? So that is how you can differentiate or visualize the tables, right? So let's move on, and I'll show you some more examples of this. Okay. So what this get and transform actually do is this. Actually, if you have to visualize this, this is a very good visualization. Okay, so you see, we have multiple. I have given you, I think, 7 or 8 files in that one folder, folder number 27, if I am not wrong. So you see, all of them, these are tables, right? All of these are tables which are there. And we will see it in the Excel, the same view. So you have a calendar lookup where all the date related fields are set up. You have a product lookup where all the product related information is there. You have a customer lookup where all customer related information is there. You have transaction lookup where all the transaction with related to a particular year is there, right? So this is how this whole thing actually works. So in Power Query or Power Pivot, you have these steps basically, and we will do all the steps. So you have raw data, which is in the form of the files, which are 7, 8 files, I think 8 files, which I have shared with you. Then you have Power Query, that is get and transform. So you here again, we don't have to write codes. There is a coding language which is used here in Power Query, which is called as M language, M code. Okay, which M code basically we will not learn M code and all that stuff. It's a simple language, but we will not going to learn M code. Then the next step is data model. Okay, and then through data model you can do Power Pivot. And again, DAX you can use data analysis expressions, which is again a coding kind of a language, but we will not go there. We can do it without coding also. For us as a finance professionals, all our work can be done at this level without knowing even single thing about the coding. Okay, but you will have to visualize things very well. So you see, this table articulation which I have shown you is very very important, and we will see how this can effectively, how it can uh, you know maybe eliminate the need of VLOOKUP, right, between two tables. If you start using it effectively, even index match function, XLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, all that will become redundant if we start using this. But for this, little bit of setup is required, and if a data is huge, then you can look at it. Okay, one of the most important benefit of data model is that it does not have a limit in terms of how many rows you can handle. Because what happens when you handle large number of rows and do VLOOKUP from one row to another or one table to another, then the files start hanging and Excel cannot accommodate those many line items and it becomes slow. So we will see how this particular thing addresses these problems. Okay, let me see if there is anything. Look here, this is how this model will look like, and we will try to make a model like this. Okay, so This is get and transform view. Yeah. So I'm good with the theoretical part. I've covered a little bit of theory on this, and now I will go to